Okay, so again, welcome to Advanced A&P. We're in the Blackboard area. Announcements start here. Let's go to the syllabus. I think that's a good spot to go. That's where most of you like to hang out anyway, at the beginning and maybe a little bit at the end. The course calendar is probably something you'll use a little bit more. In fact, it's a Google Sheet, so you could download that if you want. You can print it out, put it on your fridge or whatever. But let's look at the syllabus briefly. Again, some of this information is the usual stuff that is just the gateway, uh, template. So anyhow, I'm pulling up the Wednesday 6:05 to 8:05. Again, some of you are joining us from an online section, and that's perfectly fine. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you come every week. So some of this doesn't necessarily apply, the blended hybrid and where we're located and that. So, but anyway, we're located in the Zoom room tonight. Hey. So anyhow, all of that good stuff. There's links to the Zoom room. I have office hours. Basically, my office hours are anytime you need help. We can make an appointment if you need to go into the Zoom room and we need to discuss something, or I need to show you how to do something. I have a pretty open schedule. I just put Wednesdays noon to 5 because they require us to provide an actual block of time. But as you guys that know me, I'm available email pretty much all the time. So, and again, if you, so don't call my phone. That's my office phone. I'm not there. So email's the best way. And again, if we do need to Zoom, we can certainly set up a time to do that. Okay, because again, this, it's you're, I don't know, some of you maybe are starting to get used to this online stuff. Some of you maybe just still kind of abhor it. But either way, I want to make it as smooth of a ride as I can. So anyway, course description, again, we're going to get into, I warned you all last semester, we were going to look at little stuff in advance. We're going to be looking at chemical level. We're going to be looking at cellular level. And of course, we'll naturally be talking about the organ systems and the different organs, but we'll be getting into hydration and pH balance and a lot of the clinical issues that you guys are going to encounter in the real world are going to relate back to a lot of what we do in here. In fact, so many of the diagnostic tests that we run, if we're getting fluids especially, but even if we're checking blood pressure, checking respiration, checking heart rate, EKGs, neuromuscular conduction velocity. I mean, all these different tests that we run clinically relate almost always back to your physiology stuff. So I'm going to make it very applicable, just like I did in general. We're going to see a lot of applicable principles to real world scenarios. Bless you. So let's see, required texts. We do have a couple of texts. It's the same open stacks that you guys did with general. And again, if you do prefer a solid copy of something, just, you can go to YouTube or YouTube, well, we could, but you can go to Amazon or eBay or one of those marketplaces and potentially get, an A&P physical textbook that's a couple years old for like 20, 30 bucks or something. So, but anyway, that link is in there. And then PhysioX, we'll talk about that coming up. Many of you have been able to attain it or have ordered it and it's on its way. So we'll look at that coming up here in just a few minutes. This little blue box, these are the competencies. As you know, the Wisconsin Technical College system puts together kind of a collective that all of us follow. So no matter what college you are taking A&P in Wisconsin, you're going to get the same competencies and objectives being met. So that's how we create our courses at Gateway. And so we do 12 competencies. They're directly from the Wisconsin Technical College system. And that's really the order kind of we go in, 1 through 12. So we have about 14 or 15 weeks to get through these 12 competencies. And as we tour Blackboard, you'll see that it's broken down into the 12 competencies. So anyway, that'll come back up shortly. And again, if you have a little insomnia, you're struggling a bit, just click this course outcome summary, and open that up, take a browse. I'm taking a risk right now just by opening it. So don't stare. It's like Medusa. You don't want to turn to stone if you stare at this thing too long. But I'll give it a quick perusal just so you can see. But this is basically everything we're going to do this semester is kind of located in here. So, if we're going through like your checkoffs and your objectives, or you're wondering why are we doing this, or what's, so anyway, right off the bat, course competency 1 is nervous system. So these are the objectives we have to accomplish in the nervous system. We're going to look at some sensory functions, neural pathways. We'll talk again about autonomic nervous system, neurotransmitters. So, anyway, this is basically the foundation of our course. And again, if you're struggling with sleep, there you go. Pop in a Ambien and a guzzle some chamomile and get that course outcome summary pulled up. All right, so let's see. Nighty night, right? All right, so the course calendar, this is again something that especially most of you are healthcare, nursing probably majors, and you like calendars, I would hope, and you like to keep things organized and in order and dates. So this is probably something of interest to most of you. It's even color coded a little bit, but it goes week by week. It has all the dates, and then the nights. It says Elkhorn. But again, these are live Zoom nights. So these are Wednesday dates. That's what you see here. And then again, weeks 1 through 4 that goes with what we call module 1. So there are going to be 4 modules this semester, 3 competencies under each module. So the due dates for everything. And again, those of you who have had me before know that I'm not a real hard stickler on due dates, but I do encourage you to stick to the plan and stick to the process, because you don't want to get to the last week or two and have a bunch of stuff from the first few months to do. So this date at the end of each one, the 14th of February, all of module 1 stuff is due. So, and again, if you turn it in March 14th, that's fine too. And also, I'll talk about it in a little bit, but the exams, they're unlimited, they're unlimited time, so you can take them later on in the semester again, if you're, anyway. So everything's open. There's no penalty for late work. I don't encourage it, but I understand that you guys all have lives, and that includes families and jobs and other classes. So you've got a lot of deadlines already. So, work at your pace. This is the pace I've established. Jay, did you have a question?
I did, yeah. Do you get unlimited attempts on the exams?
No, yeah, yep, unlimited attempts, and they're from a pool. So you could take it, the second time you take it, you'd maybe have all different questions. So,
okay,
yep.
Thank you.
And it keeps the highest score too, by the way.
Okay.
Yep. And I'll talk about that a little more detail in just a sec. But yeah, that's the course calendar. You guys can, like I say, print it off or have it at your disposal. All right, so let's move on. I think that was about it in here. Yeah, this is just kind of, okay. So how-to videos. Again, I'm kind of going to go through this stuff tonight, but if you forget or whatever, you just want a refresher, these are videos I put together in YouTube on how to how to do the four things. You're going to have four things to do for each competency. Okay, so let me go back. We were still in the syllabus. There's one other thing I want to do. So anyway, I'll come back to this how-to videos. I think it's self-explanatory, but I'll come back to it anyway. I want to get back into the syllabus. Course outcome summary, I think, distracted us. And then attendance participation. Again, it's attendance is not required. It's just encouraged, especially if you are struggling a little bit. But again, I do record these, so. Some time estimates. Again, that varies from student to student. All right, this is probably the most important part of the syllabus, this little spot here. So after we get through this, I'm done with the syllabus and we can move on into Blackboard. Course grading policy. This course is worth 1,200 points. There are 12 competencies. So each competency is going to have 4 items that total 100 points. So I'll talk about that in more detail in just a second. But yeah, 1,200. That's the high mark that you're going after. Again, we're doing pluses and minuses now. So you could, anyway, that's the breakdown. I think all of you need a B to move on. So you want to be right around that 1,000 mark, 990-ish. If you're on the cusp, if you get an 81 or 82 and you've been, improving and working hard and building building on your skills, you're probably going to get a B, so just keep that in mind too. Put forth the effort and the time and the energy, and the numbers will come. Yeah. All right. So anyway, here are the 4 things you're going to do for every unit. So for every competency, I should say, you're going to do a Padlet. All of you have done a Padlet, I would assume, or at least have heard of it. If not, it's okay. I'll talk about it in just a second. Those of you who had me for general and did the Padlets, there's an extra step that you're going to do. Those of you who didn't have me for general, that this is just part of the process. There's another step that you're going to do in addition to your comment. So I'll show you that in just a second. But yeah, those are 10 points a pop. You're going to have 12 of those. And then you're going to have case studies. You're going to have, again, 1 case study per competency. Case studies, we're going to go through them. So basically each week, so like next Wednesday, first thing we'll do is I'm going to pull up the Padlet board for competency 1, and we're just going to look at those and kind of talk about a few things. That's a good time to maybe comment on the Padlets too, or, while we're doing them. And then I'm going to segue and pull up the case study number 1 next Wednesday. And we're going to go through that case study together. We're going to answer a few questions and kind of get it. So between now and Wednesday, I'd like you to look at case study 1 and get an idea of what's going on. And again, I'll talk about it in more detail in just a few minutes. But we're going to go through it together next week at the beginning. Well, second, we're going to do Padlet, and then we're going to look at the case study together. And then we're going to do a PhysioX. So we'll do our first PhysioX together next week. And again, we'll talk about how that's going to roll. And then I'll lecture a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about kind of what's going on with the nervous system and that. So, the chat's blowing up. I must have said something. Are you trying to get your camera on? Choppy to you, the audio, or is it my computer? I can't figure it out. Audio is fine. Okay, good. Okay.
Kevin, I have a question.
Sure, Rachel. How are you? Good to meet you.
I'm good. How are you? Same here. Hi, everybody. I'm just wondering, for the case studies I took A&P with somebody else, and we kind of had like a case study also just like that. But is there like a right or wrong answer for these case studies when we do our studies?
Great question, Rachel. And I'll go through that in more detail in a few minutes. But the short answer is, it's a lot of questions are pretty subjective. It's a lot of them are, what do you think about da 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 da? Right. I mean, there are some obvious, like, way wrong answers, I would assume, but I haven't seen them yet. And most, now, if there are some questions you'll see in some, like this first case study does have some pretty subjective stuff. There are a few questions that are very direct, like what hormones, does the thyroid gland produce or something, some of them are very specific, and those you'll know when you see a question that there is going to be kind of a right or wrong answer.
Okay.
And the way I grade the case studies too, I mean, unless there were 20 points and they range anywhere from 8 questions up to like 25 questions, but all of them are 20 points. So, I mean, if there's like a little hitch somewhere here and there, I may take off a point, but I mean, usually the idea is just kind of learn from, oftentimes it's just like a student will just mix a term up, or they'll mix
Okay.
they'll have the wrong chemical. And so, I'll put a comment in and say, da 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 da. But I mean, I'm probably not going to take off points, especially
Okay.
the whole body of work is on point. Then
Okay.
but yeah, there's some subjectivity to it, especially this first one. And again, there are some. I have a few that are they're multiple choice, like the third one. In this unit on cell transport mechanisms, those are multiple choice. So and not only that, and we'll go through them together in class too, but the multiple choice also, there's like 8 of them or so, but there's also a why. So that's the one thing students sometimes overlook. They'll just do the answers B, C, D, G, whatever, but they won't say why is it that this mechanism is the way it is, or
Okay.
So, but anyway, and again, I'll go through those each
Okay.
week. So next week we'll go through. But yeah, there's no right or wrong for some of them, and some of them, yeah. So I guess that's the kind of the long and short of it.
Okay.
Maybe let's see, my Wi-Fi. Will the case study be submitted? Yeah, I'll talk about that too. Yeah, there's a Dropbox for case studies and PhysioXs. They'll have drop boxes, so I'll show you those too. So yeah, even
Do
in
you
class.
use,
Go ahead.
I'm
Takesha.
sorry,
No, jump right in.
do you use visible body? Because last semester I didn't have case studies, but we used like visible body, and then we had like it was like a lab work we had to do, and it was like a bunch of stuff.
I know.
Terminologies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and well, visible
Yeah.
body, yeah, you guys will still have access to it. I think you get a 2-year kind of subscription to the courseware, but that you get a lifetime access to those apps, the human and the Atlas app, and there was like a pathology one now. So and I'll pull that up with the visible body. Let me write myself a note.
Is that similar to like your Padlet or case, because I've never done the Padlet before.
Oh, I'll pull them up. I'll pull them up in a few minutes, and yeah, you'll be fine. They're a lot easier than that visible body. I'll put it that way.
Oh, well, great.
Visible body, though, you could still use it as a supplement to what we're doing. There's some good physiology stuff in the visible body. I know some of the students in my general last semester found that the anatomy and physiology app that comes with the visible body has some really, really excellent kind of videos and kind of how-tos that are for more physiological principles. So yeah, I'll circle the visible body occasionally, but yeah, for the most part, I don't really do much with it this semester, which you may be happy about. I don't know.
Well, great. Okay.
So, and welcome, by the way, Takesha.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, let's see. So case study, and again, I'll talk a little bit more about the drop boxes and how that works. And then so we'll talk each week. So next Wednesday, we'll go through the Padlets a little bit. Then we'll go through the case study together. Then we'll go through and do the PhysioX. We're just going to do one PhysioX per week. Now, if you've looked at the PhysioX, those of you who've received it, if you've looked at it, you know, there are several activities in there. I think there are 63-ish activities. We're only going to do 12 of them. So that's the other thing. If you get that book and you're like, oh my, you know, whoa, we're going to do all this. No, we're going to do some of them. Yeah, go ahead.
So I haven't received the PhysioX. It's like I just ordered it and it's
No problem.
being shipped now, but is that like online lab? Is that like the basically
Virtual
what
lab. Yep.
virtual? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep, I'll show you guys,
Okay.
and I'll talk about some of the options if some of you haven't ordered it yet, or you know, or are still kind of hemming and hawing about how to do it, or if you're going to get the right one and that. So I'll talk about that too. And then the exams make up 40. And the exams, again, they're 40 question, multiple choice. They're from a pool, so you know, and you get unlimited attempts. And it keeps the highest score. So, and again, I'll talk about all this in more detail. The calendar doesn't really apply to us because we're meeting in here. So, so anyway, let me go back. Okay, so some how-to videos, you could watch those too and get, you know, but again, I'm going to be going through these with you together each week with, I don't know if that verbiage sounded funny, but anyway, we'll be going through these together each week. So this isn't necessarily something you know, you could watch them if you want. The Zoom classroom link, you made it here, you're in here now. So somehow that worked out. So hopefully, and I sent out an announcement, I think with one in it. All right, so let's talk about the textbook info for just a couple of minutes, because again, there's usually a few hiccups with the PhysioX. So I want to clarify that as well. But anyway, OpenStax, I think that's pretty clear to everybody. If you're unsure about that, just let me know. Now, if you go into, when you went into your course schedule and it has review book info, if you click that, this is what came up. Something along these lines from Gateway's bookstore. And I meant do not rent it because you're just going to get a digital copy. You're going to get an ebook. That doesn't provide you with access to be able to perform the activities. Now I'm going to be performing them if you did rent it, all isn't, you know, don't freak out or anything, because I'm going to be doing the activities with you each week, you know. So I mean, but I would return it. If you did rent it, return it and get this bundle. Okay, the $67 bundle. I don't know if they charge tax. I don't know if the total ends up being $67 or not. But you have another option. Well, you have two other options. You can also go to the publisher website, the PhysioX purchase options, and I can put this link down in the down in the chat if you need it. Copy link. Okay, hold on a sec. You can view this. Whoa, whoops. All right, so chat. Yes, and $47.99 through the publisher. So there's a link in the chat that'll take you to this document. Yeah, you can also, let me go to that $47.99, option number 2. If you want to so you can get the same bundle from Pearson directly, and it has their website link, and it's $47.99. And when you pull that website up, it's not going to look, it's going to look similar to this. It's going to have the e-text and the print. So you have to click print, and then it'll come up with the $47.99 one. So let me go.
So what do we get in that package for the $47.99? Is it just the access?
You get this book in a nice cellophane wrapper, and then inside, I think Amanda opened it up and found in the back, there's going to be a card in there that'll have your lotto scratch off. So and then it'll have the instructions on how to, because you have to set up an account, another account, right? But I think it's just your email address. I don't think it's anything too, I don't know. But anyway, you have to set up an account, and then you're good to go. Type in the code that you got with the bundle. So yeah, the $67 bookstore should be sending you this with the card. So you can also go to that website, that the Pearson website, And this is what it'll show up as. So it looks like it was only a $24.99, a $37.32, a $29.99. You have to click the print one, and then it pulls up the $47.99 one. That's the one you want to purchase if you purchase directly from Pearson.
When do we need it by?
Oh, I would say try to get it within the next couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, preferably by next Wednesday, so a week from now. But even if it takes a little longer, you're not going to be behind or anything. You'll be good. But yeah, if
Okay.
you can do the $47.99 from Pearson, that's the route to go. There's another option too, and it'll just give you access to do the program. You won't get the book. You would just get instant access, and it's $29.99. So if you don't want the book, and the book is pretty helpful, could you get by without the book? Yeah, you could, because the program in the, if you buy access, the program does have some of the kind of verbiage. It walks you through, but the book does have a little bit more meat to it, but anyway, so it's $47.99 from the publisher, $67 from Gateway. And then, or you can just get online access. So let me show you that. And that cost is $29.99. Sometimes it takes it a few minutes to pull up. There we go. So it'll, so if you just go to PhysioX, this one, physiox.com, it's going to come up and it's got my sign-in stuff. This would be blank, but you could click here, buy access, and you get instant access. It's 20, and you click accept, and here you go, $29.99. So this is all you need, but the book is helpful. So for an extra, so $29.99, you get the online access to do the labs. For $47.99, so that's $30. For $48, you also get the book. So, but you have to wait a little bit. Either way, so for an extra $18, right, you get the book. So no matter how you do it, doesn't matter to me. But yeah, you definitely need this. You need access to do the experiments. Okay, hold on. There's some chats stuff. Let me check those. Did you say we work through the labs with us? Yes. Yep. I'll work through yep. Yes, indeed. So next Wednesday it'll be PhysioX exercise 3, activity 1. We'll do together next week. Yep. So let's see. Okay, so
submit to you the activities?
Yep, I'll show you how to do that.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, those are Dropbox for the. Well, I'll show you how to do. When I go through the PhysioX's, there's at the very end. So basically, we'll do them all together. Like, you'll want to pull yours up on your screen, and then we'll just kind of basically go through them together. And then at the end, there are going to be some review questions. So just a couple. There's usually between 3 and 6 review questions. Short answer, just clear and concise. That just kind of summarize what we did in the lab and maybe ask a couple other little things. But that once you do that, there's a spot where you can save everything that you just did as a PDF. So I'll show you guys how to do all of that next week. And then you'll save that PDF to your computer. And then I have a Dropbox in Blackboard that you'll just upload your PDF right into Blackboard, into the Dropbox. Okay, and also I'll show you guys how to do all that. Let's see. So PhysioX. So yeah, try to get that within the next couple of weeks. Again, if you don't have it by next Wednesday, you definitely want to come to the class. But if you don't have it by next Wednesday, it's okay. You can take notes. You can do screenshots. You can, I'm going to be recording, so you can rewatch the recording. So yeah, no sweat on that. All right. No, don't sweat anything, guys. There's so much there's so much in the world to sweat. I don't want you sweating this class. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of problem solving, critical thinking, but at the same time, I have it set up. It's very organized. It's very, there's a method to the madness, believe it or not. So just follow the process that I have established. Students just run with this. They excel in this course. The first couple weeks there are bumps, just like every course. But again, just if you're ever feeling, like you're ready to open the window and start crawling out on the ledge, before you even open the window, shoot me an email and I'll talk you out of it. Okay, so don't ever feel like this is too much. Okay, if you do start to feel that, just back up the wagons, maybe step
My hands were up,
outside.
Master.
Oh, here we go. Hey, Craig, welcome. How you
Yep.
doing, bud?
Because I know about this class, the first one. It sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck, but if you want to learn it, there's a lot. It just blows your mind.
That's
And
right.
Some of the times you're just looking at like, okay, what is he talking about?
Welcome back, Craig.
Hey, Lori.
Hi,
I didn't know
Lori.
you
I
were
know
here.
Lori was in there.
She's
And
lurking.
just some
I
of
knew
the
it.
things.
I could just feel
It's
you two
just
lurking.
you are just like,
Well, remember,
Jesus.
well, I don't know about that, but well, I appreciate that, and again, that's what I
Just
mean. This is
keep
you
going
guys.
on.
You
Go with the
guys,
flow.
that's right. You guys have an 800 page, 1,200 page textbook. You'll never learn that in a week, a month, a year, or a decade. Trust me. I've been working on this stuff. My first A&P class was it would have been, I'm old. It would have been 1992. I've been at this stuff going on almost 30 years, and I still feel like I've barely scratched the surface. So and that's the truth. So don't ever feel, I mean, the more you know, the more you want to know, right? The more layers you want to keep peeling back. But yeah, just follow
Like
this
peeling an
setup and the
orange or
pattern.
onion or something like
Yep.
that, right?
Yep. It's this onion
That's
though
what
is
you used.
this onion though. This I don't want you to cry, right? You're peeling layers of an onion. So yeah, the tendency is there though. I've had students tell me that they have spent days and evenings crying at their kitchen table with all of their homework and physio X's, everything laid out. And I know this isn't what you want to hear. I'm kind of going the wrong direction here, but
Sorry.
I tell them to email me before it gets to that. I mean, because again, it is a lot of work and it's a lot of brain work, but I have the tools to provide you with. It's your experience to just unlock all of these doors and these mechanisms, and you're going to see a distinct pattern throughout the semester in regards to the same types of chemicals. We're going to see sodium, potassium, almost ad nauseum this semester. We're going to be talking about pH almost ad nauseum. I mean, there's things that initially we work on that are going to seem new and fresh and even a little bit provide some anxiety and anxiousness and tense. But again, just trust the process, because it's like you're going to see this repetition over and over. Especially true in this class. It's more difficult in general because we compartmentalize this system, then we move on to this system, then we move on to this system, and you're all the way in digestion in class, but you're still trying to absorb where the humerus is in relation to the scapula and the patella and all, so that moves really fast. That one's a really hard one. I think general's harder as long, to learn, because there's so much stuff. Physiology is more complicated processes, but it's less stuff, believe it or not. And there's a lot more interconnection with all of the body systems. So you're going to see a lot more, light bulbs will just start going off. You're going to start making connections. You're going to be doing a lot of the peeling back. I'm not going to peel the onion for you, but I will provide you with everything you need to get the job done and to walk out of here feeling like, man, like I kind of get that a little bit better now. I feel good about going into pharmacology because a lot of this is pharmacology related. I feel good about segueing into some of my clinical courses. I've got a better foundation. But again, it's about you guys. I just give you what you need, and I'll help you kind of with the layers, but it's still your experience, and that's what's so gratifying from my perspective is to see all 120 of you come April just growing and growing and growing. I saw it with all of you in general. You didn't believe me day one. I hope you did, but day one, you didn't know anything, right? And by all these terms, and by the 16th week, by finals week, I mean, you sat back and you thought, man, I really, and that was you did that, and you're going to do it again. All right. So anyway, textbook. So OpenStax, PhysioX login, okay. So now let's get into the kind of the, what are you guys going to be doing each week, or what are we going to be doing? All right. These are hyperlinks, by the way, Padlet link, web links. The web links, that tab is just full of different YouTube playlists. So again, kind of going back to what you said, Craig, that there's just so much, and it's coming just from sometimes you just are so locked in, and it's forest and trees stuff. Well, sometimes just getting a different perspective on some of this stuff can really help. And so these web links, some of these playlists are excellent, so it's got the crash course direct link. It's got the Amoeba Sisters. A lot of the stuff we're going to see in your Padlets, you're going to find some of these in here. NCLEX review stuff. A lot of you are going to have to take that exam, and that's really why you're taking this course, right? I mean, I hope you're taking it because you want to be able to apply and use what you're going to learn. But aside from that, you really are taking all of this so you can be prepared to take that NCLEX, right? Because you're not going to be able to be a nurse if you don't pass that exam. So that's why a lot of your questions are from the NCLEX. A lot of what we go through, it's WIDS, a WTC, Wisconsin State Technical College. That's from NCLEX. I mean, we get you prepped. Well, you get yourselves prepped. I just make sure you're staying on track. Okay, so anyway, that's where those are. So you can check those out. Now, modules and units. This is the spot where you're probably going to be spending quite a bit of time. Right now, I only have module 1 available just for now. This is kind of a self-paced course, especially those of you who signed up to do the online or fully online. But for now, there are 4 modules total. Each module has 3 competencies. So for right now, just module 1 is open with the first 3 competencies. Now, depending on how things go over the next few weeks, I'll certainly open module 2 up, maybe even this weekend. But I may open the whole course. Some students, you may want to work ahead. I don't know, but I think for now it's easier to just kind of see small instead of seeing all the stuff you have to do over. It's intimidating enough as it is. So I've got these modules set up. They're like little notebooks. So they've got chapters in them. There we go. So it's going to look something like this. You're going to have different the units kind of in a condensed kind of a booklet. So you can see the first big folder out here says Unit 1. So I can minimize that. And then there's Unit 2 and Unit 3. So there are your first three competencies, first 3 units in Module 1. I know that's a lot of tech verbiage and pedagogy stuff, but that's kind of what's going on. And now, so we're just going to open Unit 1. That's the nervous system competency. And it just goes through some of the objectives that we're going to do in this first competency. So we're going to look at sensory, neural pathways. So just kind of getting you, introducing you to what we're going to do. And then the engage folder when you click that, that's going to pull up the Padlet. Okay, so you're going to begin module 1 by going to the Padlet board. It says you can travel to the Padlet board just by clicking this link. And again, I have hyperlinks over here as well with all of the Padlets. So here's, again, for each unit, you're going to have a Padlet, a case study, a PhysioX, and an exam. Okay, so the nervous system, unit 1, here's your Padlet. So I click that, I open it up, and what a Padlet is, it's kind of like a wiki board or a bulletin board with just a series of different kind of videos or web links. And again, these are, it's an ongoing board. So you're going to see comments in here from last year, from all the way from last summer. So we're just going to keep adding to them. So at the very top is where you have the 5 different videos or web links. Now, I highly recommend looking at each one. Now, do you have to? Is it required? No, I'm not checking on you. You know, just for your experience, you're going to want to look at all of these. They're very short videos. Now, this 2-minute neuroscience playlist is going to have a bunch of different 2-minute short videos about synapses, about acetylcholine, about membrane potentials. And so I find this 2-minute neuroscience playlist to be just awesome for students. It's the artist and how he discusses. He makes some very complex ideas and concepts very simplified for us. So that's nice. Pain, we need to know about pain in this unit. So this is an excellent video on pain. And then we do a little bit of dissection over here and a little bit of more discussion on neuroanatomy review. And then, yeah, some crash course stuff. So you can watch any of those and then, or all of them. This one's a website. So this will take you out to a website where it's going to give you an overview. Because one of the first things I think that you'll need to do is refresh your memory a little bit about the nervous system. Because between now and next Tuesday, you're going to want to go through and kind of look at these Padlets, get reacclimated with some of the basics of the nervous system. What is a neuron? What is an axon? What are dendrites? And just some of those basic items. Some of the structural anatomy that we went through last semester. So you may want to review that a little bit before next week. Okay, and then again, you're going to want to comment on the video or the website. You can comment on all of them or one of them. It doesn't matter to me. How do you comment? You just click this plus all the way at the bottom under each one, and then it'll pull up. I'll do the 2-minute neuroscience, and then at the bottom it pulls up where you can start typing. Now it gives you an opportunity to do a title and then the body of your comment. Now, here's the thing. Notice this is perfect right here. I have anonymous right here. I have another anonymous right here. And again, those of you who had me last semester, you know about this. So just bear with me for a few minutes. And then you have over here, Julie and Brittany and Jade and Zadie. Okay, so these guys open an account. And again, it's free. It's very basic. They just basically want your name and the email address. I think that's it. So I'm not requiring you to have another account, but it is helpful. If you don't open an account, you do what Kelly did. For instance, Kelly put her name at the end, and it just stayed anonymous. Okay. You could also, for the title, type in your name as the title. So you could put, Joe Smith, and then for the title, and then write whatever you're going to write. Okay. Just please remember to denote that it's yours. Because I've got, again, 120 or so of you. So 108, I think, advanced students. So, I don't want to have to chase you down. Look at Brianna Norton already posted 26 minutes ago. Hey, excellent. So I don't know if you're in here, Brianna, but excellent work if you are. If you're not and you're watching, excellent work that way too. So anyway, and then there's a second step though. There's a little Padlet quiz right here. See, it says nervous system Padlet. This is Padlet quiz. You're going to click that and you're going to launch it. It's a one question and it's 10 points. Okay. So after you've done your Padlet, you're going to take this one question quiz for 10 points. And it's going to ask you about, it's a Likert scale or it's asking you about your Padlet experience. So anyway, there's going to be a little quiz. It's basically a data collecting tool that again will kind of put your 10 points in after you've done your Padlet posting. Remember to go back in, do the Padlet quiz. It takes you 2 seconds. Okay. No, I make a comment, at least one comment, because I'm gonna basically be meshing these together. If you don't, I'm not going to chase you down or hunt you down or anything and tell you to. I trust you guys are adults. I trust that if you watch these and they were helpful or they weren't helpful, that you're going to go in and you're going to answer that question. Does that sound good, Jade? Okay. All right. Let's see. So that's the Padlet. And again, I'll pull that up next week, give you a reminder. So work on these between now and then. If you haven't, it's a good way to get your whistle wet for nervous system. Okay. And then we move into the comprehend area. That takes us to the case study portion. So again, you can just click and open the case study if you want. We're going to do this next week. If you'd like, between now and then, certainly. In fact, I highly recommend maybe going through and at least reading through the case study. One of you asked about things being a little choppy. It might have been you, Jade. Yeah, I've got a lot of windows open and stuff. So sometimes my video, depending on what window's open, it'll kind of get choppy. But anyway, here's the case study. You can access it as a Google document this way. I also have right here a PDF version. It's kind of small, but right on down here you could also get the PDF version. It looks a little bit different. It's got some frills with it. PDFs usually I can add some frills.
Kevin, what you were in, is that one whole unit then? That's for
this is yep, unit 1, correct. This is
the whole unit then. That's what we're supposed to be studying and doing our lab exercises and stuff on. This is due
for the February 14th.
Okay.
Yep. And again, we're going to do these together. I want to, you guys will work outside of class certainly too, but yeah, it looks like a lot. And it does start out to be nervous system. They start us out with nervous system WIDS, which makes sense because everything kind of stems from that and goes back to it. But it is a little bit robust, but I do spend a couple of weeks on it. And then we'll segue into endocrine. Endocrine's not as robust. And then we'll talk about cell transport mechanisms and then things we're kind of setting the foundation. This first 4 weeks are very foundational really for the rest of the semester. And again, so case studies, the questions, Padlet shouldn't take you long. Some students spend like an hour or so watching all the videos and commenting and doing that. Some students spend 10, 15 minutes on it. It's totally, whatever your flavor is in that respect. Now, case study questions, case studies vary from week to week. Now, this particular one, I've broken up the questions. There's 16 questions, but they're subjective for the most part, a kind of short answer. You don't use complete sentences when it's necessary. I suppose like what test do you think the doctors should perform to gather more information about the patient? You don't have to do a complete sentence for that. You could do bullet, like a CT scan, MRI, whatever, right? You don't have to put, well, the physicians, they could do no, you don't, so just use your best judgment. And again, even though I say that, some students still write complete sentences for everything, and that's okay. I don't want to discourage you from doing what's comfortable for you. But I also want to let you know that if it's appropriate, you can just do a listing type of thing, or even separate them by commas or whatever. So short answers, I want clear, concise, and correct, for as close as it could be. And again, some of them are subjective. Like right off the bat, from the information above, what do you think could be causing your headache? That is totally subjective. That number one. We don't, especially when you read, it doesn't really give you much info. So I wouldn't expect you. So there is no right or wrong answer for some of these. Going back to that, if you don't answer it, of course, then that would be, I guess, wrong. But anyway, so we're going to go through these questions and talk about them next Wednesday. So between now and Wednesday, maybe go through and kind of poke around, look at this, maybe take a few notes. And these case studies are designed to really kind of, again, put some clinical applicability to what we're doing with each of these units. So
Do we answer these? I'm sorry. Do we answer these like on some type of like hard drive or something and then upload it to the Blackboard or whatever?
Excellent question. So here's what you've got a couple of options. Okay, you've got a couple of options. Let me see. So what I opened up and what you have here is in Google Docs. So it's a read only though, right? So if you open this up, you're not going to be able to type into it.
Right.
However, you go over to File and click. You can do one of two things. You can click Make a Copy, and then you can title it. So you could put your last name up here. You could put, well, I'll put mine. I'll put Yoakum case study 1 questions, hit OK. And now it opens it up into a new window. This is now if this was you, this is your document now. You can type into this at this point. And then what you'll do, if that's the route you go, let me back up though and show you the other option. If a lot of students prefer Word, right? You're used to using Word doc.
I use Word.
Okay, so yeah, Takesha, if you're more comfortable with Word, I'm totally okay with that. All you need to do is go to File again, and then click Download, or go to Download, and then there you go. There's your Microsoft Word. If you do our rich text format, but yeah, just click that, and then it'll download it to your computer, and you can't. I just opened it up. I'd have to reshare the screen because it's.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's it. It opens it right up into as a Word document, and then you can type right into that as well. And so yeah, and then once you're done, you're going to save that. So let me back up so now we're back to the case study spot. This is where you'll put it in the Dropbox. So you can go to either browse local files, and that'll open up, wherever you saved it. And so I'll go to Documents, Advanced Case Studies, and find a word. Here we go. Case Study 1. And I could just drag it and drop it, or I could just highlight it and click Open, and then it'll show up right here as it's now in the Dropbox. Now, but I have to remember to click Submit. So once you click Submit there at the bottom, it'll send you an email receipt saying that you submitted this assignment at this date and time. Okay, so yep, you can save it. So save as Word doc or download. So you go to download and then Microsoft Word doc, and you can type right into that, save it as a Word, just save it in your computer, and then, or on your flash drive or whatever. and then you can you can even just go over to your file folder if it's already open, and you can, just drag it and drop it in, that way. So, hold on a sec. No, nothing's due between now and next Wednesday. No, nothing's due until February 14th. Valentine's Day, guys. All right. So yeah, get all your stuff done before then so you can party with your loved one or ones. I don't know. I have 3, right? I have my wife and 2 girls. So it's Valentine's Day forever. It's always Valentine's Day in our house. Usually it's Barbie celebrating it or a My Little Pony party or something. But anyway, so that's the case studies. And again, next week. So between now, I guess you kind of do have homework between now and next week. I mean, it's, I would look at Padlets. I would maybe browse through the case study, maybe look at some of the questions. I also put the OpenStax PowerPoints in here. They're not the greatest. They're okay, but I have a spot. I'll show you. I have my PowerPoints in here, my slides. So I'll pull those up so you can see those as well. But anyways, if you like OpenStax, that's in there. All right. So then if we go to practice, so PhysioX is what's going on there? Oh, I clicked practice. If I click PhysioX, hey, how you doing, Brittany? Let's see. Okay, so PhysioX, it's going to be similar to the case studies as far as like the Dropbox aspect, right? So you're going to have something to put in the Dropbox. So that's not going to be different. What is going to be different is you're not going to have to type into a Word document or anything. You're going to type right into the PhysioX simulation. Now, if you can type into the Word doc, but let me pull up PhysioX real quick so you can see. Let me just go here. PhysioX lab simulation. Whew. And again, I know it seems like a lot. Oh, the first night's always that it's like, whoa, man, I don't know. So yeah, don't go running off to the registrar's office with your withdraw slip in hand. Well, I don't know how technological slip in hand. Anyway, if you ever feel like you gotta drop it, again, you want to email me first so we can talk about it. All right, so this is what it's going to look like when you have it. Once you've opened up PhysioX, you've typed in all your codes and whatnot. This is what you're going to see. Exercise 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 12. We're going to start on exercise 3, activity 1, and that next Wednesday. So I think, or maybe we're going to do number 2. I don't know. Oh, we're going to do number 3. Last semester we did number 1. I wanted to change it up. So yeah, we're going to do number 3, the action potential threshold. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to open that up. So this is what we're doing next week. We're going to work on this together. But what I wanted to do, I'm going to jump all the way to review sheet. So the review sheet, so when we do the PhysioX, we're going to answer a few questions. We're going to run some experiments. We're going to collect data. And at the very end, so this is what we're going to do. Look at objectives, introduction, pre-lab quiz, experiment, and so on until we finally get to the review questions or the review sheet. These are the questions. This is what I'm, I guess, kind of grading you on. So there's anywhere between 3 and 10 of these, or 3 and 8 of these. So you're going to answer these next week after we do the PhysioX together. So just 5 questions. Continue. Okay, so once we've done everything, you're going to have a sheet that looks like this on your screen, but it's going to be filled out. You're going to have some stuff here, 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 and here. And then we're going to click printable, savable version. You're going to enter your name in there. And again, I'm going to go through this all in more detail next week. So then you click print save, and then it comes up over here like you're printing something off at home on your printer or at school on a printer. The destination, your default destination is probably going to be whatever printer you use at home. so you could print it off, but we're not going to see each other. So you're going to want to save it as a PDF. So pull down that little arrow and then click save as PDF. And then it'll save the document to your computer to where you tell it to. It'll save that as a PDF. And then you'll come in right in here and drop that thing right into the Dropbox. Okay. So, and again, if you just type in the question, so we go to the review sheet and you just type out the answers to those 5 review questions, submit that. I guess it's okay, but again, you're submitting the PDF from the whole experiment that you just did. So if there are some issues in some of your answers, I can go back and see if there was something wrong in some of your pre-lab stuff or some of the experimental data. So anyway, again, that'll make more sense next week when we do it. But if you're feeling spunky between now and then, you can certainly go in and do that yourselves. You also get, you multiple attempts. Yep. Yeah, unlimited attempts on PhysioX. Yep, unlimited. And by the way, if you want to do, so I know a lot of you are overachievers and you love extra credit. Well, I don't know, maybe you're an underachiever and love extra credit. I don't know, who doesn't like extra credit, right? We're only going to do 1 a week, 1 per competency or 1 per unit. So we're going to do 12 PhysioXs. If you do want to do an extra 1 or 2, I mean, you can do them all if you want, but I'll give you some extra credit, not a lot, but I'll give you some. So for like exercise 3 neurophysiology, if you want to do a couple other ones, maybe you like doing the PhysioXs, if we had the time, I'd run through a lot more but we just don't have the time to do them. But I highly recommend doing more than what I ask you to do if you have the time, energy, and are just up to it. Don't feel obligated. Don't feel pressure ever. Even to do the regular work, don't feel pressure. You should feel obligated. But yeah, for extras, I'll give you 5 points for any extra ones you do, but it only up to 10 points. So only because, but if you want to do all of them, that's, again, it's your experience. But so, I mean, you could feasibly do, there's 12 units, 12 PhysioXs. If you did 2 extra, you could get that's 120 possible extra credit points. That's a lot of extra credit points. I usually don't do much with extra credit because there's so much to do with regular credit. But again, if you are feeling spunky and maybe it gets toward the end of this, and remember, my due dates really is the last day of the semester. So if there's like 2 weeks ago in the semester and you're kind of on the border, go back and do a couple PhysioXs and get some extra credit that way. All right. So anyway, so just keep that in mind. Quizlets, again, I've got the Quizlet link. If you're not familiar with Quizlet, it's just it's a website that's going to have different note cards and so the Quizlet links that I put in, by the way, they don't take you just to Quizlet. They're going to take you to Quizlet nervous system physiology. So if you want to click on some of the terms and note cards and quizzes, see how Quizlet's glitchy. I'm not glitching. Well, I might be glitching in other ways. But anyway, so Quizlet, if you haven't checked out Quizlet, check it out. And then, everybody's favorite, the review questions. These are from the test bank pool. So if you open that up, each unit, I put the pool in here. Right. I don't have the answers in there, but the pool's in there. This, by the way, and I know I apologize on the front end, but I don't know if apology is the right word, but anyway, condolences maybe, I don't know, but this exam 1 is the biggest pool of all of them. So most of my pools are between 70 and 120 questions. So pretty manageable. This one's a lot bigger because there's a lot of stuff in nervous system. So anyway, if you have questions on any of these questions, just let me know. We can go through these as on any of our Wednesdays. So maybe even at the end next Wednesday. My goal basically each Wednesday is to just do a quick little Padlet check in with everybody, then do the case study check in and go through, then do the PhysioX, and then do some kind of lecture-y / exam review, go over some stuff, right? So that's going to be our every Wednesday kind of routine. And plus what that does is it keeps us all on that same path and on that track that's established in here. All right. And then finally, for each unit, you're going to have an exam. And again, Padlet's 10 points, case studies 20 points, PhysioX is 30 points, exams are 40 points. So that's 100 points for those 4 items, and you have 12 competencies of that. So that's where your 1,200 points comes from. All right. So again, this test allows multiple attempts. I put a 2-hour time limit on it. 40 questions. If you go over the 2 hours, that's okay. It'll just keep going. It'll ask you, do you want to submit it or keep going? Yeah, you're going to keep going, right? You're not going to submit it if you're not done. So just, know though, that if you do go past the 2-hour mark, that you're not going to see a grade instantly in your grade book. I have to go in and do a couple of tweaks to get it to populate your grade book. So as long as you're under the 2 hours, it'll populate it right away when you're done. All right. So, so anyway, it's 40 questions, hit begin and bada boom, you're going to get all of them at once, all 40 of them at once. And again, you get multiple attempts. Now the test bank too, part of why the test bank is so large for this one and why there are so many objectives in this competency, the nervous system, is because they want us to go back through a lot of the anatomy. So you will see, I mean, that test, I just scanning right through it, I saw a whole bunch of anatomy questions in there, which is good. Because that's, you got to know one to go with the other. You got to, so you're going to see kind of a blend of the two with this one. All right. So anyway, so unit 1, start working on that a little bit, nervous system stuff, look at those. So go in, do it in the order. Look at your Padlets, watch some videos, look at that, the case study a little bit. We'll go through it together. PhysioX, you don't have to do anything with that. We'll work on that together next week. So where do you get PowerPoints and all of that good stuff? If you go over to Module 1, lectures, videos, and all of that, you're going to have the YouTube playlist hyperlink. Okay, so here's the nervous system part 1 and part 2, endocrine and cellular metabolism. So again, you can go through and watch those, certainly. And then I also have the PowerPoints in here as well, or the slides. And I'll go through these a little bit as well at the end next week. So there you go. So under Module 1, video lectures and PowerPoints, these are the PowerPoints. And again, they're in Google Slides. If you prefer PowerPoint, you just hit File, Download, and then PowerPoint, and it'll download it as a PowerPoint. And why would you want to do that? Let me show you why. Download. Well, maybe you wouldn't. Well, you can see them on here too. Let me find one. Okay, so remember too with my slides, so again, those of you who've had me in the past, you remember this. Oh no, my battery, I may have to run upstairs and grab my plug for my battery. Or we could we're almost done anyway. So let me show you at the bottom. Notice I've got notes. So my slides, I put notes in there. That's where a lot of my test questions come. In fact, the exam questions, the pool, and then the exam questions you have are right from all my PowerPoints, including my notes. Okay. So, I mean, there might be a few things that aren't in there, but for the most part, that's where I create them from. Okay, so there's 2 nervous system PowerPoints, and then there's the endocrine system, and then here's cellular metabolism. Okay. All right. Lastly, over here, oh, I've got a couple things going on in the thing, in the chat. Hold on, what's my battery juice at? Oh, I've got 20%. We're good. Where would we find information to answer for the, pardon me. I read Jade's question and almost puked. So I'm teasing Jade. It's not no. All right. Where would Jade ask? Where would we find information? Okay. You asked that a few minutes ago, 7:15. Okay, good. Do we also get multiple times? Okay. Yes. The PowerPoints, in the PowerPoints, within the PowerPoints and in the notes section of those slides. Down in here, you'll find those. OpenStacks. You could even Google the questions. Do I still have it pulled up? You could copy and paste the question right into Google if you're struggling, kind of maybe as a last resort, or into Quizlet or something. You might be able to find. It'd probably show you to like OpenStacks or one of those too. But yeah, in my PowerPoints, OpenStacks. If any of one of the books I would highly recommend getting if you want like a physical text. Let me pop out into Amazon real quick. Okay, so if you go, we'll try Amazon, and again, eBay, half.com is another spot. But if you type in patent anatomy and physiology, patent anatomy book, 10th edition, you could rent it for 21 bucks. You know, it's expensive to buy, but that's the new edition. But you could get an older edition. Let's see if I can find a 9th. Here we go. There's a 9th edition. You can rent 75 bucks. Somebody's got it. I've seen 8th editions. They're white covers on here for cheap. It's like 15, 20 bucks. So anyway, there are a lot of ways to get, a text, but, oh, you have that? Oh man. Yeah. Last year's. Yeah, absolutely, man. If you still have your patent book, that's where you're going to find.
Yeah, so
Excellent.
So what I'm asking is, so I have an anatomy book, but we're actually really not gonna need to use that for this class, correct?
Oh,
We're
man.
just gonna need to order that physio.
Correct. You just need PhysioX. If you have your patent anatomy book still, yeah, use that for this class too. That you're going to find a lot
Okay,
of
so all
great
the
info.
information I will need. Okay, so all the information I'll need is pretty much gonna be on like the modules, the Padlet, the case studies, and the physio, correct?
And my slides. Yep, you want to watch those too. You'll want to look at the PowerPoints, and
Okay.
I would watch my videos too. They're pretty informative. They'll help you with answering stuff. But yeah, definitely patents textbook. If you still have your old A&P book from general, that's going to be extremely helpful as well. Yep. In fact,
So do the chapters correspond with what it says in the syllabus?
for OpenStacks, yes.
Okay.
Not for patent.
OpenStacks is the gray
Close.
book with the orange writing, right? The orange
Correct.
letters?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I have that.
Okay, good. Yep.
Physio, I came in late when you were just talking about that. That's just the online thing that we're going to do weekly together.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And that comes in a bundle like
Oh,
this.
it's a book. Okay.
But you don't need the book though, Anastasia, necessarily.
Okay.
But you do need to get online access to be able to do the program, which is going to be at physiox.com. If you go into the chat, in our chat and scroll up, there's a Google Doc in there that I put in there at about 6:30.
I don't see that because I came in late.
Oh, well, I'll put it in again then.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
No, that's my fault.
figured that they would, but that makes sense. They don't. There we go. Let's try that. Okay. Now, if you open that Google Doc it will give you the first option will show you well, I just pulled it up. There we go. The first option will show you the just how to get online access, $29.99.
Okay.
That's the and you know, for $30, and then for $48 you get the bundle from the publisher.
And
And
what
that
would you,
instruction is down there. Now, you know, this has some really good info in it. I mean, I've been using PhysioX since I think about PhysioX 6, so about 11, 13 years now. So I like the book. I think it's got some really good stuff. I think it would help you with not just doing the PhysioXs, but it's got information that's beneficial just for physiology in general. It gives a little bit better background than just what you'd get from the program. So I would do the $47.99 bundle directly from Pearson, and the web link is in there. So if you want to purchase a book and online bundle, you click print there, and then it'll pop it up as $47.99. That's the one I would highly recommend. But again, you know, if you need, you know, for $29.99, you know, you'll be able to do the programs, and you'll still have some info, but the book is going to be, I think, more, especially for only $18 more. The book's way worth more than $18 in my opinion. But
thank you.
yep.
So are we gonna need this OpenStax book for sure, or are you gonna do your pre-recordings and stuff with it?
No, don't purchase. I mean, you can purchase OpenStax book, the physical one, if you want. You can also let me pull up OpenStax. I thought I had it open. Oh, here, we'll go over here, and then we're gonna go right to here, OpenStax text link. Okay, so yeah, OpenStax, when we look at that, you've got some options with OpenStax. Now, again, you can download a PDF. So you can have like the 1,200 page PDF if you want of OpenStax. And then, you know, you could go print it off at Kinko's. I don't know, that probably costs an arm and a leg. You can order a print copy, I think, from Amazon or from other places. You know, I think there's other Kindle, and these are all free. Ordering a print copy costs you money. But yeah, the table of contents, you know, again, there are key terms in there, review questions. There's some student resources are going to have answer keys to some of these review questions. So if you click student resources, there's some pronunciation, there's some other stuff in here that you can check out. Now, let me tell you guys, anatomy books from one to another are very similar. There's not a lot of difference between, you know, one book and another. One might have prettier pictures, one might have better graphics, one might have better organization or bullet points. And I mean, I don't really I mean, it's like anything, right? It's anatomy, right? I mean, the physiology. You can't. A humorist is a humorist, no matter who writes it. So, that's I guess my point. Now, with OpenStax, it's a collective of hundreds and hundreds of authors from around the country, maybe even I think around the world, that contribute. So it's kind of like an ongoing like repository of anatomy and physiology information that's kind of condensed into a textbook format. And you'll notice if you look at your patent textbook or really any textbook, the organization is identical. So, you know, it's another tool, right? It's like Golden Corral. You know, you've got the chocolate fountain and the pizza station and the carving station and the salad bar and the potato bar, and you know, we all like a little bit from all of them, but man, I really like that chocolate fountain / you know, I like the patent textbook, so I'm going to keep going back to that one. Am I still going to stop over and grab a slice of pizza / the OpenStax on my way back to my table? Yeah, I might, because it's pretty good. It's got, you know, some good stuff in it. You know, you see what I'm saying? You don't limit yourself to just one thing, but also don't spread yourself so thin that you can't get a grasp on what direction you're going. So, and then you're just wandering around station to station at Golden Corral. You never make it back to your seat. So, so pick around, taste different things, see if you like them. Just like these YouTube playlists, just there are many ways to learn A&P. Some folks love Quizlet and they practically live there. Some folks love OpenStax and they just dive in. They do all this review. They take it to the next level. Some folks love flashcards and note cards, and you can buy boxes of kits and cards, and there are apps. Some people love apps. Some people love it. So there's so many options. So I want you to explore them all. Well, I don't all. That's impossible. I want you to explore. If something's not really working that well for you, maybe you don't really like OpenStax. You don't like the e stuff. So man, just like I say, just pop on to eBay or Amazon and just order yourself up a as I say, a martini, because that's a guy who writes books. His books are excellent too. Martini and Patton, Hole's Anatomy, and Marieb. Those are, any of the, if you're not sure, just email me and say, hey, I found this. What do you think? You can get A&P textbooks for like 10, 20 bucks on the internet that are like 4 or 5 years old that are, going to cut the mustard just fine. So yeah, don't limit yourselves to OpenStax. Don't limit yourselves to anything, but find your lane and stay in it though too at the same time. But that's what I kind of recommend. And if you're ever unsure, just ask, and I can look into it or check on it. I've been a textbook reviewer for years, so primarily with Elsevier, which is where Patton's from. So he's also got a trail guide, kind of a field guide. They have a pocket book that's really good for kind of learning the basics of A&P. So anyway, they're all good, they're all excellent. And anyway, enough of the superlatives. Let's see. That's it. That's really all I have tonight. I think I'm pretty much kind of at my at my peak here, and I think we climbed the mountain pretty well tonight. And now that we're here, we can breathe a little bit easier, maybe. I hope anyway. And if not, again, just shoot me an email, and if we need to meet in Zoom, we can meet. I'll be in here every every Wednesday between 6 and 8 p.m. And then of course I have office hours too. But yeah, that's kind of the plan, So between now and Wednesday, just poke around, get acclimated a little bit with Blackboard, start looking at the Padlets, and watch some of my lecture videos from last summer that kind of go through a lot of this, and then yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday, and we'll chip away at case study 1 and PhysioX. It's actually PhysioX 3, but the first PhysioX, our PhysioX 1. So other than that, that's it for tonight. Do you guys have any other questions? Yep, thank you. You're welcome. Yep. See you guys next week. Have an awesome night. Thank you too for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye,
night, Amanda.
Kevin. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.